opportunity. This is your Leadership 301, lesson number 6. Leadership 301, lesson number 6. My name is Dr. Young. I'll be your instructor for this evening. Now, in Leadership 301, lesson number 6, this is what I want to point out. We want to start off we're talking about the making of a leader, and there are 10 essential steps to leadership development. Developing the leader in you as well as developing other leaders that you may lead. The first steps, and we're going to go through step 1 through 7 very quickly. The 10 essential steps for leadership development is, number 1, discover yourself. That's the first thing you do. You discover yourself. Number 2, capture your vision. Capture your vision. You discover yourself, and then you conceptualize, or you take a thought, capture it, turning into a plan. That's capturing your vision. Number 3, share your inspiration. What inspires you? Let it inspire them. Share your inspiration. Number 4, commit to principles and values. Commit to principles and values. You have to stay committed to these things. Don't take the shortcut if it's going to make you compromise your core principles and values. Number 5, express your passion. Express your passion. That's the thing that you have to understand, that you have to share with other people how passionate you are about what you do. Number 6, empower others. Don't just teach them how to follow. Show them how to do what you do and to know what you know. Empower others. Number 7, discipline yourself for purpose. Discipline yourself for purpose. Now, these were all steps that we went through in our past lessons. We already went over these steps. Now we're going to go into step number 8, 9, and 10. Steps number 8, 9, and 10. We're going to go with step number 8. Step number 8. First thing you have to do, coordinate your resources. Coordinate your resources. To be most effective as a leader, you must learn to coordinate your resources. Fill that in your blank. Coordinate your resources. What does it mean to coordinate your resources? Come on, fill this in. This is what it means. It means to identify, utilize, and manage your resources. When I say to coordinate your resources, I'm saying first you got to figure out, you got to find out what are my resources. Identify your resources. Then after you identify them, you have to put them to use. You have to utilize them. After you utilize them, then you have to manage them. You have to manage your resources. So you have to make sure that you identify them, utilize them, and then overall manage them effectively. That's a leadership development. Coordinate your resources. Now, there are 3 major areas of resources because you might think that you don't have any. So we're going to talk about 3 different categories of resources that you may not be aware of that you have. The first one is personnel resources. Go ahead and fill that in your blank. Personnel resources. This is to first identify the unique gifts and talents and maturity levels, including the strengths and the weaknesses of those that are part of the vision. Secondly, it is to determine the best place for them within the organization. So personnel resources work like this, that you have to first identify the gifts and the talents and the maturity levels of the people you're leading. You have to realize some people can't lead in this area, some people can't do in this area, some people can't. So you got to find out, what am I good at? What am I not good at? What is this person good at? What are they not good at? What can I use? How can I use them? Sometimes we like to think that we don't have resources when God gives us a vision, when it's time to lead. But when God has surrounded us with people, he has already given us the first category of resources, personnel resources. It's important that we put to use the people that are around us and let their gifts and talents also add to the vision. That's personnel resources. Number 2, the second category of resources, financial and physical resources. Financial and physical resources. This is to make good use and proper maintenance of the finances and the property you have for the vision. If you have property, a building, a lot, anything, but you also have finances as well, you got to make sure that you use it right. You got to be a good steward. To be a steward of the resources of a vision that involves others, you must first dedicate yourself to be a successful steward of your own personal resources. Before you can get involved in managing the resources of your business, you got to manage the resources of your house. You have to manage the resources in your family before you can go out and you can manage the resources of the church or any other business or corporate organization. So, whatever habits, practices, and principles you use in your personal life will be the same in the corporate practice of your vision. Don't think if you practice bad principles in your personal life, don't think just because you get more money or more opportunity, you're going to all of a sudden become a great steward of finances. No, you're going to mismanage if you don't learn how to manage in your own personal life. That's very good. We're going to go number three. Number three, planning resources. Planning resources work like this. Thirdly, in order to coordinate all the resources, a leader must engage in planning. Identify your purpose. Identifying your purpose is one step. The second is design a plan that gets you to your desired destination. Before and during the process of carrying out your vision, you must plan the involvement of the people and the material resources that are needed. You have to learn how to plan your resources. Plan it. You have to, excuse me for a second. You have to learn how to plan your resources. You have to learn how to plan your resources. Once you plan your resources, it is then that you'll be able to move forward. So, planning resources. Let's talk about it. Point A. The plan should include four things. I want you to write it down. The plan should include four things. Number one, a destination. You need to determine where you're going. You need to determine where you're going. That's your destination. Your plan should also include operation. Your plan should include operation. How do I plan to get there? What am I going to do? That's your operation. Secondly, it should include obligation. Obligation is, what do I have to commit to? What do I have to sacrifice? What do I have to put on the altar to accomplish this? Thirdly, it should include your resources. The resources is, what do I have to get? What do I have to get this done? If you are going to successfully plan, you got to include a destination, operation, obligation, and resources. Now we're going to go to step number 9. Step number 9. We're going to talk about this very quickly. Watch what it says. Step number 9. Manage your priorities. Manage your priorities. Managing your priorities means choosing what is important among many available alternatives. It is identifying the goals and the decisions that will take you to your destiny. It is you making sure that you have the most important things in place. You have to learn how to manage your priorities. If you're going to be a leader, you got to manage your priorities. Some people deprive themselves of sleep. I believe that my rest is very important. I believe that I have to get rest in order to be effective in the duty, the assignment, and the work that I do throughout the day. So I manage my priorities. Sleep is definitely a priority. It's not the most important thing, but it's definitely one of the most important things. Over in Luke chapter 2, we find Jesus is 12 years old and he's in the temple. His mother and his father ran off and forgot about him, but left him because he was supposed to be in the caravan traveling, but he didn't. He stayed back. And when they came and found him, he said, "You don't know that I must be about my father's business?" At 12 years old, he is putting things in the right perspective. He is arranging the frame of his life to be able to see what's most important. He's managing his priorities. So if I'm not managing my priorities, how do I evaluate if I'm not doing it? And how do I reorder my priorities? Here are 4 steps that you can use to manage your priorities. Number 1, write down this in the blank. Time. Write the word time. T-I-M-E. Time. That's the first thing you can look at to see if you are managing your priorities. Examine these areas and compare them to your vision. Look at your time. How do you use your time? How you spend your time is an indication of what's most important to you. Your vision will not come to pass without the sacrifice and the organization of your time. Your vision will not come to pass if your time is not organized and there's no sacrifice. Number 2, knowledge. Knowledge. What knowledge or information are you taking in? What do you read? How much time do you spend on social media? How much time do you spend on television? Highly successful people read. They read magazines. They read books. They indoctrinate themselves with where they're going, what they're doing. They study. People who want to be the best at finances read material on finances. People who want to be the best on health and wellness, read material on health and wellness. What knowledge are you taking in? How does it relate to your purpose? How does it relate to your plan? How does it relate to your vision? Number 3, write it down. Finances. Take a look at your finances. What are you spending your money on? Every dime you spend is an investment. So when you spend money on your food, you're going to get an investment back on it. When you spend all your money on food, you're going to get an investment. It's called weight gain. What are you investing your money in? How does that work towards your vision? How does that work towards your plan? It's important that you understand that. Number 4, health. What priorities do you have in relation to your health? And how do these priorities affect your vision? What priorities do you have in relation to your health? And how does these priorities affect your vision? Because if your health starts declining, you're not going to be there to fulfill your purpose and your vision. No, your health is an indication of you taking your vision serious. So the 4 categories that you can examine and compare to your vision: your time, knowledge, finances, and your health. Now we're going to go to step number 10, our final step. Mentor your successors. Mentor your successors. The influence you have on others should never cease. Even in your absence, it should be a continuously alive. Even when you're not there, you should be able to speak to them in words that you have said, actions you have displayed, should be able to speak to them in volumes, even in your absence. Mentor your successors. You can't leave a legacy as a leader if your product is more important than your people. No, you have to understand that you must become more concerned about producing quality people than producing a quality product. Quality people will produce quality products. I know some people saying, I want this church service to flow like this, or I want my business to flow like this, but I need quality employees, or I need quality leaders, or I need quality people. No, I mean quality. I need a quality service. No, you need quality people. If you produce quality people, they will produce quality products. Point B, nothing was more important to Jesus than people. Nothing at all. Not programs, products, holidays, or anything else. He would violate the Sabbath day and everything else just to make sure that he invests in people. He knew that his vision was bigger than himself and that he couldn't fulfill it without leaving a lasting influence in the lives of those he led, and that will work in them even when he was gone. When Jesus left, it said this. It said in Acts 17:6, it said, these are the men that have turned the world upside down. They're acting just like Jesus. His influence when he was gone still worked in them. Point C, how do I mentor my successors? You might not know how to mentor them. This is how you mentor them. Number 1, you reduce dependency. Write that down. You reduce dependency. You can't let them depend on you for everything. You have to learn to teach them how to operate on their own. Reduce dependency. Number 2, release their potential. Release their potential. You have to learn how to let their potential flow out of them. You can't just depend. They can't depend on you. You got to learn to get them to tap into it, that the most of them can come out. Release their potential. Number 3, you have to be careful. You got to know you must celebrate their progress. Write that down. Celebrate their progress. When you see them advancing, let them know. Tell them you're proud of them. Celebrate. Give them an award or something. I mean, do something. Let's celebrate their progress, because progress is important. Number 4, manage their focus. Sometimes they can get off track and you got to bring them back in and say, no, stay focused. Sometimes they can take on too much and you got to say, no, stay focused. Manage their focus. And number 5, stretch their faith. Don't let them become complacent with past accomplishments. One quote that I heard from an older preacher years ago that has stuck with me is, what is birth in fire will never be satisfied with smoke. What is birth in fire will never be satisfied with smoke. That means that I've come out of this, a passion from, so I can't live. Smoke says something was there, fire was there. I can't live off the past victories and the past accomplishments. No, stretch their faith. These steps are to make you successful as a leader. Success is fulfilling your purpose at the highest level. Therefore, success is not measured by what you have done, compared to what others have done. But success is measured by what you have done compared to what you could have done or what you should have done. That's when you find success. Well, glory to God. This is the end of your Leadership 301 course. This is your last test. Next week, you will not have a lesson. You have a break between your course. So the following week, you will get an opportunity to start your stewardship course. So if you haven't ordered your textbook for your stewardship, faith and finances course, you need to get that textbook as soon as possible. We thank you for this opportunity. God bless you. Amen.